In the previous class, I had explained about VSEPR theory. So, we shall be looking forward into VBT and MOT. VBT stands for valence bond theory and MOT stands for molecular orbital theory. Now, why we should learn VBT and MOT? I shall give you the reason. So, I have hydrogen molecule here and fluorine F2. Right? So, hydrogen has one single covalent bond and fluorine also has a single covalent bond. But the bond length and the amount of energy required to break this bond is different from that of fluorine. Fluorine bond length is smaller than that of hydrogen molecule and the energy required to break this bond is different. All this could not be explained by Lewis concept. Therefore, VBT came into force, which is based on quantum mechanical model. I shall read the same things now. Modern theories of covalent bonding. A single covalent bond exists in hydrogen and fluorine molecules, but the two differ too much in bond enthalpies and bond lengths. This difference cannot be explained by Lewis concept. Lewis concept also fails to explain why at all a covalent bond is formed. It cannot even account for energy changes during bond formation. So, to overcome the demerits of Lewis concept, quantum mechanical principles were proposed. And which are they? They are valence bond theory and molecular orbital theory. Valence bond theory. It was introduced by Hattler and London and was developed further by Pauling. According to VBT, the cause for chemical bonding. It means what? What is the cause for any molecule to undergo bonding? Is to acquire minimum energy and maximum stability. So, whenever a molecule is formed, the molecule will have minimum energy and maximum stability. If it is reverse, like maximum energy and minimum stability, then the molecule will not be formed at all. So, what is the principle for any molecule to be formed? 2 points are, it should attain minimum energy and it should have maximum stability. To understand the above statement, one can consider the formation of hydrogen molecule. Two hydrogen atoms. Let us call one hydrogen atom as HA and another hydrogen atom as HB. So, two hydrogen atoms with their electrons EA and EB approach each other. So, which is the electron belonging to hydrogen A? It is EA. And which is the electron belonging to HB? It is EB. So, the two hydrogen atoms HA and HB with their electrons EA and EB, they approach each other. They come nearer to each other. When they are far away from each other, their potential energies will be very high. Potential energies means the energy associated with those particular atoms. When they come closer to each other, the following forces are observed. So, which are the forces what we observe when the atoms come very close to each other? Nucleus of HA attracts the electrons of EB. EB is electrons present in the hydrogen B. So, nucleus of one hydrogen atom attracts the electrons of another hydrogen atom. Nucleus of HB attracts the electrons of another hydrogen atom. Now, why there is attraction? Nucleus is positively charged and electrons are negatively charged. So, unlike charges attract each other. Nucleus of HA repel the nucleus of HB. Why? Because both are positively charged, therefore they repel each other. And electrons of hydrogen A repel electrons of hydrogen B. All this will happen when the two hydrogen atoms come closer to each other. In the beginning, the attractive forces are stronger than the repulsive forces because the atoms are approaching each other. So, attractive forces will be more than repulsive forces. So, the atoms keep on approaching each other and the potential energy of the system goes on decreasing. At some point, the distance between the two nuclei of the two atoms, the attractive forces just balance the repulsive forces. At some point, the attractive forces will balance the repulsive forces. At this internuclear distance, at this distance, wherein the attractive forces are balanced by repulsive forces, the atoms, they come very close to each other, but they will not mix up because of repulsive forces. So at some point they come very near to each other and stand. At this internuclear distance, which I call it as R0, the potential energy is minimum, and as a result a bond is formed between the two, and that bond is covalent bond. And R0, the internuclear distance, is called as bond length. And the energy released whenever a bond is formed between the two atoms, what will happen? It will have minimum energy. Whatever extra energy is there, it is released. The energy released during the formation of the bond is called as bond enthalpy. In case of hydrogen molecule, bond enthalpy is 435.8 kilojoules per mole. It means what? Two hydrogen atoms are approaching each other. At some point, what will happen? Repulsive forces become equal to attractive forces. Potential energy is released, bond is formed, and whatever extra energy is there, it is released. And what is the energy released in case of hydrogen molecule? It is 435.8 kilojoules. If the same amount of energy, that is 453.8 kilojoules, is supplied to hydrogen molecule, then the molecule breaks to give hydrogen atoms. So hydrogen molecule can be broken to give hydrogen atoms by supplying 453.8 kilojoules of energy. Delta H is equal to positive. Two hydrogen atoms, when they approach each other, they form hydrogen molecule. Then delta H should be negative. So it is minus 453.8 kilojoules. Formation of hydrogen molecules is represented here in the form of a graph. So initially there are two orbitals. Potential energy of these two hydrogen atoms is very high. It is shown here, and this is internuclear distance. As the atomic orbitals, they approach each other, when they come, hydrogen atoms, when they come closer to each other, what happens to the potential energy possessed by the atoms? It goes on decreasing as the hydrogen atoms come closer to each other. At some point of time, attractive forces will be equivalent to repulsive forces, and they stand a distance apart from each other, and that distance is shown here by R0. And what is this called as? Bond length or internuclear distance. And so much amount of energy is released. That is bond enthalpy. Hope you have understood the formation of hydrogen molecule. Now why did I talk about formation of hydrogen molecule? Because I wanted to explain you that for any chemical bond to be formed, it should acquire minimum energy and maximum stability. To understand the above statement, we considered the formation of hydrogen molecule. Orbital overlap concept. Now when they come near to each other, they tend to diffuse into each other, and that is called as orbital overlap concept. Now during the formation of a covalent bond, the combining atoms approach each other till they acquire minimum energy. At this state of minimum energy, the atomic orbitals are so much closer that they undergo partial interpenetration or partial merging. They tend to merge with each other. This partial merging of orbitals is called as overlapping of atomic orbitals. This overlapping involves pairing of electrons of opposite spins. Thus, a covalent bond is formed by overlapping of half-filled atomic orbitals containing electrons of opposite spins. So what happens if it is completely filled? Completely filled means no overlapping will take place because maximum capacity is only 2. So it should be always half-filled for any covalent bond to be formed, and the electron should have opposite spins. Greater the overlapping, higher is the strength of covalent bond. Based on the type of overlapping, two types of covalent bonds are seen. One is sigma bond, the other is pi bond. Sigma bond is shown by this sign rho and pi bond is shown by the sign pi. So what is a sigma bond? It is formed by head-on overlapping of half-filled atomic orbitals along internuclear axis. So what is sigma bond? It is formed by head-on overlapping of half-filled atomic orbitals. What is head-on overlapping? Head-on overlapping is also called as end-to-end overlap or axial overlapping. Example, SS overlapping. It involves overlap of two half-filled s orbital. I have an s orbital here, another s orbital. They are overlapping and this is called as SS overlap. Which bond is this? It is sigma bond. So what is sigma bond? It is the first bond formed between the two atoms. You can remember like that also. So where do you find SS overlapping? This occurs during the formation of hydrogen molecule. Okay. Then sp overlapping. What is sp overlapping? It involves overlap of half-filled s orbital and half-filled p orbital. Okay, along the same axis. So I have s orbital, I have p orbital. They have overlapped here and that is called as sp sigma bond. This is seen in HCl, HBr and HI, hydrogen s orbital, and for chlorine it is p orbital electron which overlap. And that is the first bond formed between them. Therefore it is called sp overlapping. Now coming to pp overlapping. pp overlapping again in sigma bond, it involves overlap of two half-filled p atomic orbitals. Half-filled p atomic orbitals. I have a p orbital here, p orbital here. They overlap leading to formation of pp sigma bond. Okay, this is seen in case of fluorine, chlorine, bromine and iodine molecules. So how many type of sigma bonds are there? SS overlapping, sp overlapping and pp overlapping. So you can see three types of overlapping in sigma bonds. One is SS, another one is sp and very good. Third one is pp overlapping. Once a sigma bond is formed, again if half-filled orbitals are there, then they lead to formation of a pi bond. So what is a pi bond? The covalent bond formed by lateral or sideways overlapping of atomic orbitals is called as pi bond. Okay, so this is one pi bond, one p orbital, another p orbital. They have overlapped giving you pi bond. So pi bond is formed only after what? A pi bond is formed only after a sigma bond is formed. So what are the differences between sigma bond and pi bond? Pi bond is formed by axial overlapping. Sigma bond is formed by axial overlapping of atomic orbitals. Which atomic orbitals? Half-filled atomic orbitals. Correct? And pi bond is formed by lateral overlap of half-filled atomic orbitals. And which bond is stronger? Sigma bond is stronger because interpenetration is more here. Sigma bond is stronger and pi bond is weak bond. How many types of overlapping are seen? SS, SP and PP. In case of pi bonds, you are going to see only PP overlapping. And pi bond is formed only after sigma bond is formed. Hope you have understood. Thank you.